But again, it's getting late, so we got to keep that timetable. There's lots and lots to talk about tonight. So everybody, now it's time for us to get into it. Come on. All right, everybody. First thing I want to talk about tonight and discuss, everybody, is TikTok a little bit, because this just happened today. Universal Music Group has pulled all of their artist music off of TikTok. Still on Instagram, it's still out there on X, but they pulled it all from TikTok, which of course TikTok is one of the biggest platforms where people are using artist music for different ticks to the talks and all the world they make. But right now, I'm thinking about who's going to be part of Universal Music Group. We got Taylor Swift, we got Drake, Adele, Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, these big artists that have been used over and over again for people's like motivational walk, or for there's like, they're farting on someone's face and they're playing a song. I don't know. This is what happens on TikTok. I think that people are being you've seen those videos,
it's
right?
Viral.
It's viral, man.
That's not my algorithm. I don't think. No, I don't get that shit. Sorry, buddy.
It'll come around. It's called Pillow Talk. But so, anyways, so this has been going.
He knows the name of it. Okay, this is real.
But today, this contract ended, and Universal Music Group was like, "We're not going to re-sign it again." They have demands for TikTok because they said all the other platforms are meeting their demands. They're actually paying the artist's rights, and they're actually taking care of the AI issue out there, because Universal Music Group says that TikTok's pushing for AI to replace artists. They're pushing for that option, and they're taking away paying the actual group or the actual talents what they should be paid. And here's their three things they're proposing. They're proposing appropriate compensation for artists and songwriters. They're proposing protecting human rights from the harmful effects of AI, and online safety for TikTok's users. Because they're also saying on top of it, there's a lot of speech, bigotry, bullying, and harassment, and other hate speech that's been going on, and TikTok doesn't do anything about it. They let it happen, run wild on the internet, on their platform, and they're saying they want that all addressed before they're able to sign on their contract to move these artists' music back to TikTok. So, of course, TikTok's like, you know what, you're clearly just thinking about your own best interests and not the artists, songwriters, and fans. And they're saying that's bullshit because you're the ones that are just trying to replace humans with AI at the end of the day, and you don't want to pay humans for their actual talent, their work, and their efforts. And I bring this out to the group because, honestly, it's one of those things that, again, TikTok see Open West. People are Open West, the Wild West. Everyone's using this music. Like I said, we got the fart videos, we got the inspirational videos, we got the love videos, we got the, I don't know, cliff diving stuff. I don't know what the hell they do. But TikTok, there's a lot of this stuff that's being used. And I've always thought it was weird that this music was actually on these platforms. I do think, I've always been like, well, how do they get paid? And apparently they have not been being paid well. Do you think this is a trend that will continue forward? That's the question. And if, can they actually make a deal so it works again so the TikTok fans can use the music again? I'm going to go to Sabrina first here. Sabrina, what do you think about this? Do you think this is an issue that TikTok and Universal Music Group could actually figure out, work out, hash out the details, sign a new deal? Or is this something that's going to be moving forward, do you think, and there'll be more and more platforms and groups that represent artists pulling off platforms like TikTok because their talent isn't being compensated in the right direction?
I think that it's good to stick up for your talent and to want people to be compensated for their work. Rachel makes a good point, saying that, it's a good way to get new music out there. I guess what I would do if I were in that situation, which I will never be, I feel like you could probably ask your artists, are you cool with this?
It's Drake.
Do you what? That's Drake. He has a nice facial mask on. I think that's a green tea pore cleanser right there. Probably from. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I think if you ask your artists and they're cool with it, then sure. And if they're not cool with it, then don't. I feel like instead of making it cut and dry, maybe you can make it on a case by case basis. I love Billie Eilish. I love a lot. It's a huge catalog of music that they're taking down. So I think it's honestly up to each artist, and it's not up to who owns them. But to be fair, who owns them is getting a cut of their money. So that's what they're doing. They're doing it for them. They're not doing it for the artists, in my opinion. So
it makes me wonder, though, how much they're actually being paid here, too, because, of course, they're not putting those numbers out there, Sabrina. They're just saying it's not enough. And it's at a time where people are pushing out against big companies for AI stuff and compensation. So they're getting on the bandwagon here, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. They saw what happened with the union strikes, trying to get more money.
I'm a huge proponent of people getting paid for what they do. But if you are like, you know what, I'm a new person and I'd love for my music to get out there, and then maybe it can, give you a platform to reach more people, fine. And if you're someone who is making a shit ton of money, they might be like, sure, use my music. I don't care. I like, what I mean? It just depends. I'd rather defer to the person who is creating as opposed to the person who's managing the person who's creating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then these artists really haven't said much about this yet. Of course, that just happened today. Literally today it went down. And I wonder what will happen. Good question, Richard. Does someone watch every TikTok video?
Richard said, how do you keep track of that on a platform? I mean, it's the same thing with like the streaming stuff. Like there's some sort of algorithm that keeps track of everything. And like, it's not human regulated.
No, all the fart videos go to Brian, and then the rest of America take care of all the videos. Yeah.
Sean, do you watch these videos? Do you watch these? I'm just kidding. I know.
Sean's like, I am ready.
Do you think that the AI thing is really a problem they're going after, or is it a money grab? And do you think the artists will eventually step forward and say something about this and let their stuff go back out there?
Let me preface this by, as someone that's been studying music law for the past 48 years, I completely know everything about this. No. To your point, I don't think artists have a say in this. Technically, it is the Universal Music Group here that has the rights to use and release and be paid for the music. The artists just make it, and then they handle all the things from there. So in terms of like asking artists their permission, unless the artists have the rights to it, which at this point I doubt that they can actually do that, it's just going to continue to happen. I think platforms like this make money by just giving you what you want to see. And a lot of that, yes, is visual and audio cues to tell you and to hit into what you want to hear. So I'm not surprised that TikTok hasn't been doing this. I mean, do you think that we, and I'm asking the group here, do you think we'll ever live to see a company use its power for good instead of fucking over and not paying people what they're due? That just kind of seems to be the way capitalism works.
Valve. Gabe Newell of Valve. He's the one.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm a believer. The one
I don't know.
capitalist messiah. Yeah.
This is,
I don't think so.
Again, the AI component of this whole thing does make it really difficult. We saw a ton of issues with Taylor Swift's the AI stuff that leaked from her, or what was done there. Music and fake audio are already here. I mean, you can go on Twitch and see a virtual Joe Biden arguing with a virtual Trump, and it goes on for 24/7. And nothing is going to take that down because it's an AI triggered thing, and they don't have the rights to that because they're public personas and they're public characters. Unfortunately, the only a Universal Media Group does have the ability to take this stuff down, but do they really have the technology or the power to demand that it goes down, or can it not appear on that platform? Right? Like a lot of times, what I've seen is the individual accounts on TikTok or Instagram. Will just have the audio as their username, and it's you can tell it's the song that it is supposed to be, but that's a way to kind of hide from the sensors or the scanners or web crawlers or whatever the hell they use to do this. Again, I have only been studying this for 48 years, so give me some more time, and I'll be there. Get you a law review. Yeah.
What's up, Ty?
Hi, Ty.
That's the whole thing. It's like there is no regulation. That's the problem. And again, like we talked about the George Carlin thing, they're trying to sue George Carlin's AI program for making that dudesy thing. They're trying to sue them. The state's trying to sue them. But again, there's no rules. And so, how do you sue somebody when there's no laws for this? And there's been a big push. So it is the Wild West for this shit. And I think that overall, these artists, again, I agree with both of you. The artists probably have no say in this. They really don't. They sign a deal with the record label. Record label makes these. They should, but they make these deals like when Spotify first happened too. Like people weren't getting paid, they're not getting paid shit really for Spotify, and that kind of stuff was a reason why Metallica fought Napster back in the day. Why musicians are having to tour more than they've ever had to. It's just what it is. Musicians get screwed.
Tidal is a thing. Remember that?
Lexi made the point though that the same thing happened with YouTube, I guess, a while back, which I didn't know. So I guess that's it's it's when things are new and you're forging a new frontier. Like it's kind of there's this weird, like uncharted territory. I'm not saying that this is new currently, but like Lexi mentioning that this happened with YouTube, you know what I mean? Like there's, so like when things are first starting, they're like AI is kind of taking off right now. It's like you're trying to put regulations on something that you're not really aware of. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, Sean, like there's, you kind of sign your life away when you sign a record deal. So, it's like whatever they want to do, they're going to do, and you're just a byproduct of it, which is unfortunate because you're the person that makes it what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, I think it was Rachel or might have been Lexi in the chat had mentioned it, but like this is also going to hurt those artists that aren't at the Bad Bunny or the Drake level or Taylor Swift, but are still covered by that same company. Yep. And that's going to really
who would actually benefit from the exposure,
from exposure and adoption and just people talking about their music. Now they 100%. Can't be exposed to it, and I don't know. It's disappointing. Again, artists suffer, the audience will suffer, and corporations get bigger. So
those gain at the end of the day. Mike, how do you feel about this? You hear all they're talking about this. They're talking about the corporations are kind of running this. Is it a TikTok thing or is it the actual a music company? Do you think they can work a deal out? And do you think that this will be a big impact moving forward for artists and upcoming artists and the music entertainment industry moving forward due to these deals falling apart?
I think it is going to be up to the companies to figure it out, frankly. Obviously, if I'm an artist and my art is driving clicks, that clicks is selling ad space. I'm generating money for you. I want a cut of that because otherwise it's kind of thievery, right? But you guys, it seems like Sean thinks that they're going to have to deal with this with like organizational regulation, which I think they are going to be the ones that have to come up with the deal. And I say that because we're seeing the government is trying to regulate a lot of this stuff. The AI shit, the George Carlin shit, it's coming at us real fast. I mean, there were Senate hearings today about where the TikTok CEO was at, where Zuckerberg was at. They're talking about child endangerment in online platforms, right? And I'm watching this just moments ago, and all these senators, they're old as fuck. And the landscape is changing really fast. We're approaching the singularity like way too quickly. The landscape is shifting way, way, way too fast for the old way that we develop rules and systems and regulations to catch up with it. And I don't think, and like the last internet law that they were talking about being passed where that just established that platforms aren't responsible for what's posted is like 28 years ago. If we're still dealing with like that as our most recent ruling, like we have no hope of ever catching up to it. So I do think it's the people with the incentive and the money to litigate that are going to be the ones that have to figure out how these companies negotiate with each other. Yeah. And I mean, the Universal owns the property, so they have the authority to pull the plug.
It's time for years ago. I think it was 14 years ago or something like that, but it was Senator Ted Stevens, a Republican from Alaska, who was like head of like the internet committee or whatever subcommittee in the government, called the internet a series of tubes, and also posited that his email had to get through other people's tubes. So that because he wasn't getting his emails quick enough and his grandkids wanted to send him images or some shit. That's who runs our fucking country, and that's who fucking knows and like makes laws on technology. They have no idea what the hell's going on. So it's going to take a long time for like shit to catch up. And by that point, I mean the cows left the barn, right? Is that the saying? I don't know. I don't farm.
I like the cows left the barn.
The horse is out of the barn. The horse is out of the barn.
Yeah.
You put a cow in a barn. You put the horse.
The cow shit in the barn.
The horse was in a stable.
The cow shit the barn.
Cow's in a barn.
The horse is out of the barn. That's I learned that terminology over COVID because what's his name?
I trust you.
Cuomo.
I trust you.
The older Cuomo who got ousted out of the government.
Sure.
Andrew Cuomo.
Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. It took me a minute. I'm like, it's not the guy from CNN that's not on CNN anymore. But yeah, so like the horse is out of the barn, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I talked to my mom, and she's like, that's a hugely popular saying. So for sure, that's what it is. The horse is out of the barn. Not to, what did you say? The cows where? What was your,
the cow shit his pants. I don't know.
The internet is a series of tubes. He's correct in that though. Oh man, you remember the auto-tune that came out of that one? And it's so not the nicotine that kills, it's the smoke.
You shall build a turtle fence.
How do you start a sentence with a Republican senator from Alaska? Like that should be a problem.
You gotta set the stage. That's just how it goes.
Yo, player, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Cause the pep star needs more snickety snacks. Cause I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.